Can't ask for much more than that.
Once again, for the 65th time to be exact, the eyes of the motorsports world are about to be firmly affixed on Daytona Beach, Florida, and the biggest stock car race in the world.
Little bit of a breakaway as they come down to see the white flag. 1 lap to go, but the scramble is on as they head down to turns 1 and 2. Mark Martin, Kyle Busch, Greg Biffle, David Gilliland. Will they come back that way?
Mark Martin tried to capture the race that's eluded him for 23 years. Kyle Busch on the back bumper, determined to take it away. They're single file the top 4 on the bottom of the racetrack. Mark Martin off turn 2 for the final time.
Mark Martin brings the field to the back straightaway. Everybody in single file, the front 2, front 3 cars. Here's Kyle Busch to the outside, to the inside. Martin throws the block. Busch slams into Harvick. Harvick's up the outside. Harvick's looking for the win.
Here comes Kevin Harvick. He draws even with Mark Martin side by side for the race lead and for the win. Martin down low. Kevin Harvick wheel to wheel. Busch spins off turn 4.
Kyle Busch spins. Matt Kenseth spins. But here comes the race to the Daytona 500 victory. At the stripe, Kevin Harvick gets it by inches. Comes out of nowhere, and Kevin Harvick is the 2007 Daytona 500 winner.
Well, we were so close, and I just want to thank, I hope that I gave all our soldiers something to cheer for tonight. I know we all wanted to win. I wanted to win with all my heart, and so did my whole team. But, you know, this is what I wanted. I wanted a shot at the Daytona 500. I mean, we had a shot at it, and you know, I didn't get it done.
Well, this is it, man, here in the... this is what makes stock car racing what it is, and to come to Daytona and respect the sport for what it is, all these guys do. I know I do, and Richard's been a big part of the sport. So to know the history of RCR and everything that they've done at Daytona and to be a part of that now is just awesome.
That's how it sounded February 18th, 2007, the legendary Barney Hall. Dave Moody, yours truly, Jeff Striegel, and Joe Moore with the call of Kevin Harvick's only win in the Great American Race, edging Mark Martin to the line. Sunday will be Kevin's final race in the 500, and his journey to the Daytona 500 began in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, and that's where we begin today. Tonight, it's a banner night for the tough trucks of NASCAR. First, 2023 will be the 29th year for the series, and the partner that was there on day one is back. Craftsman and its brand back on the series. The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series will go green tonight. Going to have a couple of fresh stops for the trucks this year, and there are 2 venues that are going to be making a return. North Wilkesboro in May, Milwaukee in August. Got a stout rookie class for the trucks this year. Nick Sanchez, Rajah Caruth, Brett Holmes, Jake Garcia, and Daniel Dye. Now, Jake Garcia will not be in the field tonight. Actually, Chase Elliott will be driving the number 35 Chevy Silverado. Jack Wood will also be in the field tonight. He'll be driving Kyle Busch's number 51 Chevy Silverado, and Jack explains the plan for racing tonight at Daytona.
I think in a perfect world, everybody wants to go into Daytona with some master plan, you know, and as great as that sounds, stuff here can change pretty quick, as I'm sure you know. So I think you try to think of all outcomes and possibilities that can happen to you and your team. I think we have the right people around us. We definitely, Chevrolet is winning in numbers this year. So hopefully we can kind of use that to our advantage and hopefully it pays off.
Spencer Boyd looking to take Young's Motorsports to victory lane on Friday night, but he says to do that, trust is a must.
You want to be around people you can trust. I mean, when you're out there in the draft, especially when you get 3 wide, the trucks start bouncing around, the air is moving around a lot, and then the truck gets really twitchy. So when that happens, you'll see a lot of these younger guys, lose control and cause a big wreck and things like that happen. So you want to be around a good group.
In Truck Series, next to Era Energy 250 tonight at Daytona. 100 laps, 250 miles, stage breaks at laps 20 and 40. Motor Racing Network on the air, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Tomorrow, it's going to be the 42nd year for the NASCAR Xfinity Series, and lots of drivers in lots of new places. Some familiar faces have moved on to the NASCAR Cup Series, but one driver is back to make an impact, and that's Sam Mayer. He'll wheel the number 1 Chevy Camaro for Junior Motorsports, and Sam says at Daytona, it's all about strategy.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of technical stuff that goes into a full strategy of a Xfinity race at a speedway, and this is probably one of the most strategic heavy ones because you can't make it all the way in stage 3 on fuel. So there's some strategy that goes into it there, and obviously there's a lot of stuff with the rules changes and everything like that that's going to change up how the cars drive. So we're going to have to make a bunch of adjustments throughout the race, I'm sure. But, we're just going to try to get all the adjustments out early and try to lead the race from there.
Jeremy Clements won at Daytona last August, but he says just because he was successful then doesn't necessarily mean success on Saturday afternoon.
Man, Daytona is such a different beast that it feels great that you won there, but it really doesn't mean a thing. I think we finished 37th there the first race last year, and then we won the next one. So, but it does make you feel great that you were the last winner at that track. But man, you just never can tell. We just got to survive all 300 miles, be there at the end, and try to put our all-South electric one-stop convenience store Chevy in contention to get a win. And that's what we were able to do the last race there.
The NASCAR Xfinity Series Beef. It's What's for Dinner 300 coming your way here tomorrow at Daytona. 120 laps, 300-mile stage breaks at laps 30 and 60. Here is our broadcast schedule for tomorrow. And actually, it's going to start at 2 a.m. Eastern. That's when you'll hear the replay of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race, the Next Era Energy 250. And then fast forward to 7 a.m. Pat Patterson's back with the front stretch, 11 a.m. Eastern tomorrow. It's going to be Press Pass with Brad Gilley and Lee Spencer. 2 p.m. Eastern, Loose Ends, the best of Sirius XM, NASCAR Radio. 4 p.m. dialed in with Claire B. Lang. 4:30 p.m. Eastern, Motor Racing Network on the air with the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Once we go checkered in that race, Claire B. will be back with Dialed In. She'll take you until 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Then on Sunday, it's the big one. It's the 65th Daytona 500. Defending series champion Joey Logano had a good run last night, won his dual race, and right now for Sunday, it's all about strategy that we know. And, well, there's no race like what's about to happen on Sunday. It is a unique venture into the unknown when we take the green flag Sunday afternoon.
It is the Daytona 500. There is no race like winning the Daytona 500. It's a big one. You want to have it checked off in your resume as many times as you can. So it just kind of puts you in a tough spot sometimes. And that's why you see these things happen, right? Think about the 500. There's more wrecks in the 500 than there is in most any other speedway race because everybody knows what's on the line.
Denny Hamlin is a 3-time winner of the Daytona 500, and he says if you get win number 4 this year, it would be extra special in such a special year for NASCAR.
It would be pretty special for sure. I know it's a big deal for NASCAR, their 75th anniversary. I remember, watching so many races and you see in the 50th anniversary logo at the time. I think it was on the Hendrick card. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it was. It's cool to be a part of this sport, especially during this time as it is starting to really ramp back up. And certainly, I'm invested in it, so I hope it does well.
Brad Keselowski is trying to win his first 500, but Brad says that in order to do so, one must possess a level of intestinal fortitude.
There's an old saying, you got to risk it to get the biscuit, and you got to take chances to win the Daytona 500. And you have to be willing to push and do things other people aren't willing to do, and that's always been a thing of this race. Probably more so now than ever with the moves that it's required to win the race or at least not lose it on the last lap. Those moves are usually pretty bold.
Martin Truex Jr. started the year off with a win at the Clash at the Coliseum, and he's looking to get a Daytona 500 win on Sunday. But in order for that to happen, he knows his Toyota teammates are going to have to play a role.
You know who you're racing against. We've been racing together a long time. We all know each other, especially the guys that have been here a while. And, when you come to a race like this, you don't ever expect to work with those guys because they're Fords. And we come to these tracks, and it's always the manufacturers, right? Toyota's going to help Toyotas. Ford's going to help Fords. Chevy's going to help Chevys.
William Byron going for his first Daytona 500 win on Sunday. William, walk us through the strategy of the Great American Race.
Probably coming off turn 4, maybe the 500 feet after the real exit of turn 4, I think is probably where the move is going to take place. So I think, honestly, up until that point, you want to protect what you guys have with, being 1-2. And I think that's the biggest thing. You want to bring home a trophy for Mr. H. So hopefully we're in the 1 position and it feels a little bit better that way, but you never know. You just got to try to put yourself in that position.
Ryan Blaney hopes to roll into victory lane on Sunday, but he knows in addition to a good race car and a good race team, he's also going to need some good fortune to do so.
Any speedway race is kind of that way. You have to have things go your way, and there's some luck and skill and strategy involved, but it is super tough. I mean, we've run second here, 2 or 3 times, and probably had a good shot to win it 3 or 4 times and just haven't really been able to pull it off. So you can't make any mistakes. You never really get it back, and this race is something you stew over probably for the longest out of all of them.
The 65th Daytona 500 on Sunday, 200 laps, 500 miles, stage breaks at laps 65 and 130. Here's the broadcast schedule for Sunday. It actually will begin 12:30 a.m. Eastern Sunday morning. That's when you'll hear the replay of the NASCAR Xfinity Series Beef It's What's for Dinner 300. 7 o'clock, the front stretch with Pat Patterson will get us going. 11 a.m. Eastern. You'll have Fantasy Racing Preview with our Uncle Petey. By the way, that will also be simulcast on Fantasy Sports Radio, Sirius XM Channel 87. At noon Eastern, it'll be Claire B. Lang and Brad Gilley with the Sirius XM NASCAR Radio pre-race show. Yours truly will have NASCAR Live Race Day on the Motor Racing Network at 1:30 p.m. Eastern. Once we take the checkered flag in the Great American Race, it will be the Sirius XM NASCAR Radio post-race show with Claire B. and Brad, followed by Dialed In with Claire B. She'll take you until 10 p.m. Eastern, and then you can hear the replay of the 65th Daytona 500 Sunday night, 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Driver to crew chatter lets you hear the Cup Series race and the in-car radios of your favorite teams. This week's preview is brought to you by Jiffy Lube. Oil changes, brakes, tires, and more. What your car needs, all under one roof. That's a job for Jiffy. For the Daytona 500, we will have 10 channels, 10 different teams that you can monitor. The individual channel numbers will be posted later today on our Twitter feed at SiriusXM NASCAR. But here are the drivers that you can listen to in the Great American Race. Defending Series champion Joey Logano, 7-time Cup Series champion Jimmy Johnson, 2-time Cup Series champion Kyle Busch, Cup Series champion Chase Elliott, 2311 Racing's Bubba Wallace, Brad Keselowski of Roush Fenway Keselowski Racing, 3-time Daytona 500 champion Denny Hamlin, 2007 winner Kevin Harvick, Ryan Blaney, who's come so close in the Great American Race, and Kyle Larson. All those drivers will be available. Again, check out the channel numbers as they will be posted later on Twitter. All of those channels will go live at 2:45 p.m. Eastern on Sunday.